behalf of Bangalore Chamber of Industry and Commerce, we welcome you all for this special session on Grow Your Business with Location Analytics with regard to understanding GIS technologies. The session is organized under the aegis of Manufacturing Expert Committee of the Chamber. The Manufacturing Expert Committee is chaired by Mr. Prakash, who is the Vice President Technical, Toyota Kirloskar Auto Parts, co-chaired by Mr. Shiv Ganesh of FANUC India, and mentored by Dr. S. Devarajan, who is the Senior Vice President Manufacturing of TVS Motors. The Chamber expresses its thanks to Mr. Ashish Dhawan, Divisional Head Pre-Sales, Ishri India, for accepting our invitation to address at this session. We are also beholden to Mr. V. Karthikeyan, who is the Senior Vice President Technical of EDS Technologies and also the member of Manufacturing Expert Committee for structuring this session. The Chamber acknowledges the members' support by way of sponsoring the annual events. Our members like Euler, Fundermax, Wipro, MTR, and Sona Group of companies. Now, I would like to request Mr. Prakash, who is the chairman of our Manufacturing Expert Committee, to take it over from here. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Rupa-san. First of all, I would like to welcome all the participants for this session. It's a very unique session. And just to give you a brief background of BCIC, BCIC is a very, very diverse chamber with many committees, approximately about 15 committees, which range from the ICT committee, information communication, we call it as industry institute committees, then we have a hospitality committee, pharmaceutical industry. I think you name the industry sector or the business sector, BCIC's presence is there. So we have about 800 plus members as part of this chamber, and it is growing not only just in Bangalore but across Karnataka, and we have also made our beginning beyond India. I think we have already started some kind of a thing in the office in Japan as well. So I think this is the background of BCIC, and manufacturing is one of the committee in the BCIC, and we are of course generally working on a lot of activities related to manufacturing, helping the manufacturing sector, especially focusing on MSME, but that includes a range of technologies actually. Of course, the latest one being Industry 4.0. And when I talk about Industry 4.0, the lot of terminologies come actually. That is, which includes robotics, automation. We call it as 3D printing, data analytics, machine learning, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality. I think a lot of things are coming up, and it's quite changing. So Manufacturing Expert Committee, as well as along with the Industry 4.0 committee that is headed by Mr. A. Chandramouli, also conducting a lot of sessions for the benefit of our members. Now, having come to just coming to this session specifically, background of this, I think we are talking about all these things we are doing. Manufacturing Expert Committee is basically to help the members get a more insights on what kind of technology they can use to enhance their business, whether it is medium or a large or a small. Now, when I talk about a technology, probably 6 things comes to my mind, or 6 questions which any technology has to answer. For me, it's it's like a Bible for me, or it's most fundamental. We should be able to answer what is the power of new technology. That's a very, very first fundamental thing. What current limitation or a barrier does the new technology eliminate or vastly reduce? And what are the current usage rules, patterns, behaviors that bypass the current limitation? In the absence of the technology, you would have already made some way of managing or working with it. So that I think the rules have to be clearly understood. What are the rules and patterns and behaviors need to be changed to get the benefits of the new technology? And what is the application of the new technology that will enable the above change without causing the resistance? Now, I think because many times when we see the technology change, you find that people find it difficult or they don't want to use it also. And how to build, capitalize, and sustain the business. I think these fundamental questions are there with any technology. And today we have the session on grow your business with the location analytics. I'm really thankful to Karthikeyan for actually bringing out this to the as part of the manufacturing expert committee with Ishri technology. Definitely, I would really thankful to Mr. Dhawan, who is going to actually throw some light and enlighten on this new technology. I'm very sure these 6 fundamental questions will be addressed in this session as well. Once again, thanking you as well as the entire members, and I'm very sure that this session will be very useful to our members. Thank you very much. Over to you, Mr. Karthikeyan.
Thank you, Mr. Prakashsan, and I must thank BCIC for giving us this opportunity. I'm sure that a lot of conversation that I used to have along with Prakashsan every Saturday, we used to discuss about what we need to bring to this panel, because we are though called manufacturing committee. So how do I stitch a new story for this particular chapter in order to stay relevant to the subject? So first of all, I take opportunity to thank good afternoon to everyone. We thank all the participants for joining this session today. The key takeaways that you will be able to see is at the end of the session, how to integrate data, which is location specific, into your business for making informed decision. That's one of the message that I would want to drive at the end of the session. In this session today, there will be many words that will reverberate in the session by many of the 3 eminent speakers that are present in the session on platform, enterprise mapping, data analytics, real time, location specificity, business performance, geodemographic systematic analysis. So these are all the things that will help all of us to understand what does this signify to every typical business that we are connected. The business today are definitely being challenged by many dimensions. One, it could be from the supply chain, or it could be from the manufacturing agility, or sometimes it could be the decision to satisfy the customers, or in order to understand the customer and better service them, to see how agile I am in terms of servicing to those customers. So there are many ways that we can increase the business. One is an organic way and an inorganic way. Inside the organic method, what are all the methods and means that we can make informed decision? So today we wanted to connect two stories. One is the geo-specific information story to the business, and we have people who have been a specialist in this subject. I don't want to take the thunder away from their speech, so I just thought this session would definitely bring in lot amount of insight for us. To start with, today we will have sessions of speakers, starting with Ashish Arora, who will probably introduce us to about what is History India and what they are doing. And then there will be a deep session by Ashish Dhawan, who will also take us through whatever the talks that we did today about the business data geoanalytics, followed up with Roma Malik, she will explain about logistics industry connected with geospecific information. So we have a very rich panel today, and I will leave the floor to Ashish Arora to introduce history technology to all of us, and then we will have the conversation continuing with Ashish Dhawan. Thank you all for joining us this afternoon from EDS Technologies.
Okay, give us a moment. Thank you, Mr. Venkat, for the nice introduction. Do let us know once you are able to see the screen.
Yes, I'm able to see you.
And are you okay? Let's go. Just a second. Let me also quickly switch on the camera. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ashish Arora, and today, we are here to, let you know what we do as a business day in and day out. I was just listening to the conversation before this, and I was very glad to hear the term Industry 4.0. we have been doing geospatial, implementing geospatial technologies in the government side of it for the last 25 years in India, and even before that globally. But if you talk about applications and applicability of geospatial applications in industries, manufacturing, retail industries, and commercially driven industries, the data was never plentiful. Capturing of data was always a challenge. We've been talking about big data for the last 10 odd years, but when we talk about geospatial data, for us, geospatial data has always been big. Whenever we talk about a satellite imagery or a survey data collected on the ground, it has always been big. So we have been working with big data sets, big locational data sets for the last 25 odd years now. Of late, if do listen to the government mouthpieces, they always talk about the importance of geospatial as an industry. You talk about Gati Shakti program in India, you talk about river connection program, you talk about smart cities, safe cities. They've been talking about importance of geospatial. When it comes to the industrial revolution and industry 4.0, geospatial becomes largely important because now there are ways and means to collect geospatial data, locational data outside a premise, outside a plant, inside a plant, and then you integrate the geospatial data with your sensors, with your automation, industrial automation devices, starting with robotics to any other IoT sensors. You visualize what is happening inside, what is happening outside, and then you do informative decisions based on what is happening, what is the situational awareness in your premise, right? With that note, I'll just introduce ourselves. Hi, we are ESRI, ESRI, we call it. It's basically the organization started as Environment Systems Research Institute, and we basically build mapping and spatial analytics products as a platform. And the stats are there on the screen. We are the market leaders in when it comes to geospatial. Within India, we have a wide presence. We just celebrated our 25th anniversary. We are a 200 plus people strong organization. We talk about business, and we, provide platforms, managed services, any kind of consultancy. We basically work with our customers and help them implement locational intelligence and optimize their business processes. We are here since 1996, so that's anyways I said. The flagship platform which we provide is called GIS, and it comes in various flavors and various means. So I'll not talk about that much. Ashish Dhawan will probably talk about after me. However, what I would like to give a message here is that we are not an organization which will typically just sell a platform or sell a software or provide technology. We are known in the industry to work with clients, with customers, understand what can be done, work with them, gain domain intelligence from their teams, and then co-create a solution together which makes sense. With that, I'll just pass on the baton back to Mr. Venkat, and thank you for giving us time. We are really humbled for this. Thank you.
I understand Ashish Dhawan will take over in terms of explaining the technology. Am I right? Yeah.
Sure. Yes.
Ashish, you can proceed with the conversation.
Thank you. Thanks, Mr. Venkat. Thanks, Ashish, for setting up the story. So when it comes to location analytics, what is actually required is let's first understand what is the different kind of what we actually do in location analytics. When GIS was introduced initially, it was always considered to be more of a visualization platform. People used to think that GIS is only related to maps and it's only related to data which is getting added on top of it. But nowadays, how GIS is actually transforming itself, where data is not only getting captured from multiple data sources, but it is also being used for visualization, for putting it on the map to visualize how things can be viewed on a map. It can be a real-time data IoT device. It can be a data coming from your MIS systems, data coming from manufacturing industry. So all multiple different kind of data sets coming into a single place where you can actually churn up the data, use it for your planning, use it for your decision making, and then actually it actually helps you to plan your work. And it's not only meant for few people who would be working on the data sets, but nowadays when we talk about location analytics, it is being used across the departments within any organization. So be it a HR department, be it a finance department, be it a analytical department, be it people working on fields who are trying to collect data. So you can see the diversification of different people trying to get different kind of data sets, trying to bring it into a single unified platform. And once the data comes into that, then we are trying to churn it and use it for different purposes. So what we are actually talking about is that data sets, we really understand that there are multiple different kind of data sets which are there. There is data sets which are coming from your MIS data. Now, when I say MIS data, it can be a simple XLS file. It can be a data residing in any regular enterprise geodatabase. It can be a data which is coming from your IoT devices, any data which is coming from real-time feeds. Can be a feed coming from your regular logistics trucks, which is moving, having a GPS equipment attached to it. So there's lots of variety of data which is coming into it. Apart from that, where we actually also play a major role is the demographic data, the population data, because whenever we are trying to do any planning, the most important thing what is required is we should understand, if I'm trying to sell a product, where should I sell the product, to whom, which is the place, what is their spending patterns. So that's the place where demography plays an important role. When it comes to cell phone data, so nowadays, even if you switch off your location, which is available on the mobile device, but still there are options by which you can track a particular mobile phone using CDR dataset. So we connect to that as well. And then there is all this data. If you have got your historical data available with you, you can actually start using your historical data, which is called a spatio-temporal data, which is coming from years. That data actually helps your systems do the machine learning, create algorithms around it. And once we create algorithms, it actually you can run the models which are available through our software, which can help you in your various decisions for your decision making. Said that, what we have to offer, what ESRI is offering. So when it comes to the offering of different kind of options which are available, so as I said, it's anytime, anywhere, any device. When I say anytime, anywhere, any device, it can be a simple mobile phone where even if you are on the field, even in a connected or a disconnected mode, still you might like to collect your data. So that's the place from where we start, where you collect your data from a mobile device, maybe in a disconnected mode. Still, you can keep on working with your apps. You can go on collecting your data. Once your data is collected and once you come back to the network, that's the place where the data can be synced directly to your central system, so that you get almost a near real-time kind of feed into your central systems. Once that data is available, it is put on the map. So when I say put on the map, the very first thing why we call us as a location analytics is we need to convert the data into a lat long. Like if I should be aware of where I am standing. If it's a GPS feed which is coming, I should be able to plot myself on a map. So that's the place where we try to convert all the data which is available. Even if we don't have lat longs, there are addresses which are available with us. We can convert the addresses into, using the geocoding engine, we can change it and plot it on the map. Once the data is visualized, we can create multiple dashboards which can help you see the kind of work what any organization is doing, and how we are different from any other regular dashboard in the market. Because now what we are trying to do is we are trying to attach a mapping component to the data. So if I would really like to understand that if I need to market a particular product in a segment, I should be able to easily identify that, okay, these are the locations where I have sold maximum. So which is the locality, whether if I'm talking about Delhi, whether I have got more customers in Vasant Kunj or I've got more customers in East Delhi. So I should be able to do that. And that's the place where location analytics actually starts playing an important role. And that's the place where your regular dashboards get connected to a mapping component. The data can be switched between a map to a dashboard. You can, when you are working at a state level or a district level or a sub-locality level, depending upon whatever your requirement is, whatever region you are working with, you would like your dashboards to be getting updated on the map as well as on the charts. So that's the place where we provide quick situational awareness dashboards. And then we have got multiple models which are available, which can help do multiple predictions related to different industries. Coming to the next section, nowadays, whenever we talk about data, another important aspect when it comes to map is that people are nowadays really interested to see their data in a 3D format. And the best thing about ArcGIS, the product which ESRA sells, is that we are able to, if we have the data formats available, we can put it on the map and we can have a full 3D visualization. We have been even able to a very quick random example, like one of the queries which was there from the very starting, that how can location analytics be really helpful. So when I would like to talk about is that when it comes to 3D data, we have been able to utilize our software, and a few movies like Car 2 and Zootopia have been using these 3D datasets even in Hollywood. So you can imagine the kind of diversification where the location data can easily be used at different places by media companies as well. And when we talk about the different data formats, so it can be any data format which is available. It can be available in different, we support all the regular data formats which are there in 3D formats as well. So that data can also be coming into our place. And this is a quick example of example where we are trying to show that if I've got a simple map and if I would like to create a building on top of a map, so what the simple thing is, we have got rules which are available. As soon as we put those rules on the map, you can see that I can convert my polygon, that's a 2-dimension data, into a 3-dimension data. I can change the height of the building. So it's by just changing the rules, by changing the values on the right hand side, I'm easily able to create a 3D object. I can, and it's not only about talking about the exterior of the building. What we are also talking about is within the interior of the building. I would not only like to change my facade, which is outside, but when I am going and navigating within the building, whether I can actually, change my ceiling's height, I can increase the width or the width of the staircase. So these are some examples where we say that GIS is helping even the construction industries and the places wherever we would like to visualize the data in 3D. Whenever we are trying to go within a building, what is the height of the door? What kind of interior are there within a particular room? We can all specify that so that you can have a actual virtual reality movie for a 3D object as well. And this kind of support is also available through our platform. So that was an example which we wanted to showcase you through this small video. Uh, Having said that, it's not only again visualizing your data on a desktop. If you would like to visualize your 3D data on a browser, then the best way of visualizing your 3D data on a browser is a quick example which we are trying to showcase. So you have got two varied data sets of two different years. One is present and the one which is going to be planned for 2030. So if you would like to visualize that and plot it and see it on a browser, so we have got a browser support for 3D as well. So whatever data is available on 2D can be shown on a 3D as well. Quickly going ahead about what other offerings we have is when we talk about imagery, nowadays there are lots of satellites which are going uh, to the sky, and with the latest drone uh, policy which has come, you can actually capture multiple different kind of images. It can be a static image, it can be a dynamic image, and we should be able to do analysis around that image object as well. So when it comes to image analysis, we are not restricting ourselves to any specific vector analysis. What we are also trying to do is where we work ahead with the image analysis. And when we say image analysis, what we have different options which we offer is, if I would like to understand that what is the changes which have happened. So if I am working for a construction company and I would like to understand that, okay, how many new urban cities have come up, how many new buildings have come up in a particular area. So using my change detection, I can have a previous image of one year and another image of another year, and I can do a change detection, and I can get to know what is the changes which have come in a particular area using imagery. And nowadays, another important aspect for especially for industries is, if I've got a imagery, can I identify an aeroplane? Can I identify a swimming pool in a imagery? So those are the kind of algorithms which are available, from where you can easily extract multiple features from imagery as well. And that's the kind of analysis which we are talking about. Having said that, I would, when we go to the field operations, as I told you that there were multiple are apps are available which can help you collect data from the field. So it's the one more best thing which we offer is that once the people start working with our apps, you don't need to actually learn GIS or location components. It's just like a simple WhatsApp. Like once you install a WhatsApp, you are able to work with that. So that's the kind of flexibility which we are trying to give to our users. So once they take the software, most of their use cases which are there, maybe it coming from a construction industry, maybe coming from a manufacturing, maybe coming from logistics, transport. So there are multiple use cases which they would like to do on the map. So using the configuration option, even when you are in a field, you can collect your data from the field. It can be through a mobile device, or you can also use drone to map. The drone where you can collect your data coming from drones, and that data can be meshed up into a map as well. So that's the kind of simplicity which we are offering through our apps. And when we are trying to collect the data, what we also do is that once we have the data with us, then there are options where we can actually put that data, integrate it with your MIS systems, so that we can do multiple different kind of analysis on that. We can create charts, we can create uh, the whatever dashboards we would like to create, we can create it, and we can project it on the map. Another important aspect which I would like to cover is the real-time data. So when we talk about a real-time data, then there are multiple ways from where data is coming to me in a real-time format. It can be a data coming from social media. So if I would like to integrate social media, we have got connectors which can help connect social media, take all your data from social media and take it into your central systems. Apart from social media, if we are working for a logistics company and we have got multiple cars or trucks where we would like to monitor that, we would like to see their present location, where they are going, how they are going, whatever feeds are coming, we should be able to visualize that on the map. Then there is data which is coming live, maybe from uh, when we are traveling in a rail. So I should be able to track myself on a rail. If I'm traveling on an aircraft, then whatever data is being as soon as I'm moving, whether I can capture that data from the aircraft and show my location or not. And all these kind of different real-time data feeds are easily available. We work on a service-oriented architecture, so all these various feeds which are coming as web services can be consumed into our platform and can be used for different kind of analysis. These are some quick examples of the different kind of connectors which we have. So The best, as I said, that we are able to give our users the way where you can just simply configure your data and start working from the very first day. So you can see these are the different kind of input uh, data formats for real-time data, your IoT devices, your sensors. All these feeds can be easily ingested into our systems and can be brought out into the central system. Once it comes into a central system, then whatever action you would like to perform on that, you should be having options where you should be able to export your data in different formats as a real-time data. So if you would like to update your data as a SMS or update your data on some uh, on a particular geo database, you should be able to do that, and that's the kind of output connectors also what we have. And another important aspect, as I told you, that when we talk about configurations, another place where we play a major role is we work for multiple industries across globe, and whichever industries we work for, be it manufacturing, be it utilities, be it public safety, be it any local government, state government, we have got multiple templates which are available. So the benefit of having templates is that all the data, whatever is available with you, you can connect your data into these systems, you can configure it, and you can start working for your particular organization using these templates. With this, I would like to I would request Roma to take it ahead, where she will be showcasing you some whatever we have said, how we are easily able to implement it using some case studies which we have already implemented in and across globe. So Roma will be walking you through that. So I will quickly request Roma to take us from here.
Yeah. Thank you. So, yes, I would be walking you through some very specific use cases within the retail, manufacturing, BFSI, and logistic verticals. So, yes, with that, let me begin by sharing my screen. So, I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, we can hear.
Yeah, thank you. So we all know that locational analytics and consumer demographics are being used in the supply chain management as well as logistic companies to identify or understand how distance, the travel time, geography, as well as demand from the customer is affecting or influencing supply, and basically to identify the gap in the supply. So the specific use case that I'm walking you through is one of the logistics company where the client wanted to understand where there was a gap in their last mile delivery. So they provided us with points or their delivery points. So the red points that you can see here on the screen are where their deliveries were being made. They also shared with us their existing branch locations as well as their existing pickup locations. So we went ahead and ran the territory design tool to um, basically identify the territories based upon certain attributes such as the minimum number of deliveries, the maximum deliveries, and they also wanted to have a maximum radial distance that the deliveries were made from a specific branch location, and uh, they wanted to have buffers of major highways or major roadways. So they wanted their final territories to not cross major roads or highways. So we went ahead and implemented the territory design tool. So we added in the parameters or attributes of minimum and maximum deliveries. identified or gave the weightages to each of these parameters as well as the distance, and put in the barriers. And we ran the tool to iterate. So all of this analysis was carried out on a spatial grid of 100 by 100 meters. So the maximum distance that their new territory that they wanted to identify should not have a radial distance of 500 meters. So we found it prudent to look at a 100 by 100 meter grid. We went ahead, multiple iterations of this tool was run, and the territories were identified. So as you can see here, that these territories were identified, and based upon these territories, we ran spatial queries as well as attributable queries to understand how each of these identified territories were performing. So generally, when you are looking at a logistics company, they do have certain territories identified for their existing branches, which are based either on the administrative boundaries, or they are related to the pin code boundaries of that area, specific area. But this client wanted to go ahead and define their own territories. So they went ahead and ranked or gave us the attributes to rank these territories, or how they were performing based upon the number of times the deliveries were, a specific delivery was made, as well as how many of those deliveries were made. And based upon that, these territories were ranked. So they had green, blue, yellow, and red. And they came, and some of the territories were not satisfying these two specific conditions. So they were permutations and combinations of the two specific rankings that they had. And they came to a realization that many of the existing branches or locations were centrally located to a specific territory, and some of them were, of course, not performing ideally. So that's when they went ahead and took a call of, okay, maybe they need to go ahead and open up a new location, or they what kind of decisions needed to be made to improve the performances of these specific branches that they have. So using locational analytics, these were the kind of questions that they went ahead and were trying to answer, or trying to find the answers to. So this was the one of the first use cases that I wanted to showcase. Along with location and locational analytics, you do have real-time analysis and alerting, which comes into picture. So uh, the second use case that I want to discuss is that of another logistics company where they have their warehouse located. So you can see number one here is the location of their warehouse, and they with real-time analysis and alerting comes into picture of live traffic, as well as the road network and the catchment area, or the complete distance which is covered at a specific time from this specific warehouse. So what you see here in purple and pink are the total areas which were covered at a 2-hour drive time from the store, at 8 o'clock in the morning and 8 o'clock in the evening. So you see, or you can see that based upon the traffic situation, the area or the distance which is covered varies. So in here comes into picture or into play the real-time analysis. And we have tools or geoanalytics tools which take into consideration time, traffic, So pulling in the world traffic service as well as the time and the catchment area which is covered. In real-time analysis and alerting, you also have the concept of geofencing. So in case of transferring goods, whether it be high value goods or perishable goods from point A to point B, so from your specific distribution center or warehouse to a particular store, you have the optimal route marked from A to B. And geofencing is a concept where you have a buffer around your route, um, which can be monitored. So, suppose your truck starts from point one and you have the route which is being traveled. And you know there are certain high risk areas for crime and the goods that are being transferred are of high value. So in this scenario you would be using uh, the GPS to track the exact location of your truck when it starts from your warehouse or from your distribution center. And if in any situation or any case due to an emergency, the truck veers from its given or its optimal path, you would have an alert generated, which would go back and tell that okay, the geofenced area or the route which has been ordained or taken has been veered off course. So geo alerts are one of the ways, and tracking your truck location with GPS is one of the ways. Geofencing is one of the ways that you use locational real-time analytics to send alerts. Um, the next use case that we have that I wanted to discuss was that of the store performance. So we know that store managers are looking or need to have an understanding of how their stores are performing um, overall over the region. So not just the data for the month, but also historical data. So data over a specific number of years. So a dashboard gives you an overview of all an understanding of how the stores are performing by category over the years, which categories or which of the categories are performing well. So here, what we have in this example is a store performance dashboard. So I can filter it out based on a specific region. So the dashboard being interactive in nature would zoom in into that specific area that region that I want to look at. I can also filter it out for a specific sub-region and go ahead and select a specific site or a store and understand which is the highest performing. So for this specific 383 site, I have jewelry as the highest performing category. I can also filter it out by specific categories, and I have an understanding of over the years what has been the performance. So we can see that jewelry has been consistently performing well from 2017 to 2019. I can even go ahead and for all of the regions see how a specific category has been performing. So I know or I have an understanding that for the pet care category, it did perform well in 2017 and 18, but saw a drastic dip in 2019. So these kinds of statistics are available, and the dashboard being interactive will filter out and give me those specific values. It also gives me the attributable value of what were the sales, daily sales, monthly sales, and the information of the administrator of that specific facility. So the dashboard is an overview, so more of a high level stakeholders, decision makers, administrators can have an overview of the performance. Again, with retail locational analytics, you do need to have an understanding of how the customer profile is for a specific store. What are the total census blocks, ward boundaries, grid boundaries that a specific store is catering to. So for this specific store, you need to have an understanding of what were the visits or the counts at the store. So by clicking on a specific store, it is giving me an highlighted view of the number of surrounding areas which come and visit to the store, of course, with the closest being the ones geographically closer to the stores, the visits and understanding of the counts, as well as an understanding of over a particular month how these stores have been performing, and trying to understand what were the reasons for the increase or the decrease in the number of visits to that specific store. If the geographical pattern for that of the number of visits to that store, as you can see, are from areas not directly correlated, you also want to go ahead and ask the questions of why, what were the reasons that that specific store is reaching out to those customers and those profiles. So not just location alone, but having an insight into the customers and their profile. And talking about the profiles of the customer, we have the next example is of an ArcGIS Insights dashboard. So an Insights dashboard is literally giving you a detailed overview or a look into the profile of your consumers in a specific pin code, in a specific boundary, or even if you are looking at it at a very granular spatial grid. So I want to see what is not just the population density, not just the population, but I want to know what is the demographic, what is the age group of my profile living in that specific region. I want to know how many of those customers are have an inclination to spend more on their health. So you can clearly see the insights dashboard being dynamic in nature when I select a specific area or a block. In my bar graphs, all of the others dynamically highlight that specific area. So I know that for the Khar East locality, there is a 38,000 plus spending on healthcare, health and medical care. So I also have an understanding of what is the average monthly household income for that region, what is the affinity of credit card holders, as well as what are the financial savings. So when you are working in the commercial sector, you are not just looking at the customers or the number of customers, you are also looking at their affinity for spending, their age group, their lifestyle, and using dashboards like these, interactive dashboards like these, give you a quick view of some data which would have been otherwise just Excel based or just tabular based. So this is a very good visual representation of all of your data sets. You can play with bar graphs, bar charts, pie charts, and a number of different ways of representation of your data and gaining insights from that data. My next use case is I would be jumping back into the desktop module, which is bringing in the same demographic data, to at a spatial grid of 250 meter by 250 meter, to identify suitable locations or site suitable for opening up new ATMs. So looking at it from the BFSI sector point of view, the client wants to know what are the suitable sites for new ATMs. So in this case study, a number of factors came into play. The first one was the demography of my area of interest. The second was the existing geographical locations of my bank ATMs. So all of the black points that you can see are the existing locations where I had a financial institution or an ATM located. Then next was areas of interest, so areas of high footfalls. So where I had a number of people going ahead and having some kind of transaction, whether it was so. A few of those places were identified as bakeries, hospitals, marketplaces, post offices, areas of entertainment like restaurants, supermarkets, as well as an understanding of so to go ahead and understand or find a suitable site, we wanted to know that where you had potential for these areas of high footfall, and of course negate all those areas which already had an existing ATM located in that specific region. So by having the demographic understanding, by having an understanding of the existing ATMs, we created drive time areas of around 200 meters by walk from our existing locations. We also aggregated of interest from the high footfall areas. And we went ahead and ran the site suitability tool to figure out areas which needed ATMs or potential sites for ATMs, and singled out those which did not or already had these ATMs away. So by running the tool, by giving them the weightage, by using the multi-criteria decision analysis, we went and we identified potential sites or potential new sites where ATMs could be located. So those areas which had the demand but were not being served. So you can go ahead and you can play around with these attributes. You can play around with the weightages that you're giving to your parameters. You can add more point-based parameters, attributable parameters, demographic parameters like the lifestyle affinity, age, spending potential, and you can streamline this analysis to suit your study. So this was one of the use case that I had for the BFSI sector. From this, I would jump into a use case that we have for the automotive sector. So here, as you can see, we have specific locations where of the existing dealers, existing service centers, as well as my existing customers. We went ahead and created a heat map to understand where our potential, what was the based upon the number of customers, where was the areas which had the customers, and of those, which were the customers which were significant and which were not significant. We also went and identified the customers which were significant and not significant. We also went and identified the specific drive times. So if I am looking at a dealer or a supplier of my automotive, and I need to supply some parts to my service center, I need to understand how much time it would take for a truck to travel within 30 minutes. What was the area that was going to be covered within a 30 minutes distance and a 60-minute distance, and what would be that specific reach. So identifying these catchment areas as well as the optimal routes for the vehicles or the delivery vehicles to travel from that specific dealer or the service center uh, my uh, to my dealers, basically the automotive dealers. So you can work with tools like route optimization to identify optimal routes from a point A to a point B. You can bring in the live traffic service that we have to understand the kind of what is the traffic, or what is when is the high traffic areas, low traffic areas. So when would be the optimal time to travel, where are your customers located, which customers are significant based upon the parameters that you identify, and ultimately make decisions for your business. So not just working with the analytics in a web application on the fly, you can add layers, you can get a summary of generate a summary of all of these attributes, so you have an understanding of the total number of customers. You can add more parameters to generate more summaries, and also create charts. So not just working with the analytics in a web-based application, but also bringing in those analytics into your dashboards to go ahead and get an quick overview of the total number of customers, the service centers, the dealers, zoom into a specific region and identify how many customers are associated for that specific geographic location, what were the models which were being sold, what was the billing that was happening over a couple of months, and understand the sales for that specific territory. And with this, I wanted to showcase the last of this. So with retail, with the whole commercial sector as a whole, whether it's retail, whether it's manufacturing, BFSI, or logistics, as a whole, all of these operations are always affected by incidents, and there is impact on a specific territory. And as a stakeholder, as a decision maker for a specific chain or a specific company, you need to have an awareness of what are the incidents that are happening overall. So the last dashboard that I want to talk about is an situational awareness operations dashboard, where we have filtered it out for a specific for all of the incidences all across India. You can filter it out for a specific city. So let me just filter it out for Bangalore. So for Bengaluru specifically, you have a list of the incidents which are happening. You have an overview of what are the different types of incidents, and you can see that crime is the largest. What are the different assets which are being impacted, and it gives you or generates a stability score for that geographic location that you are looking at. You can also filter it out for specific incidents that you are looking to that might directly affect or impact your operations. And this is more of an overview of how you would work with um, uh, incidences in real time that can be incorporated with dashboards to give you an understanding and make the decisions which are necessary for the analysis that is being carried out. So this is it from my side. With this, I would hand the session over to Ashish sir to continue on to government specific use cases. Thank you.
Thanks, Ruma. Thanks for the great insight. Uh, I will be quickly again sharing my screen. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes.
Just before jumping into some more use cases, I would first like to cover a few more aspects where first I would like to discuss about that whenever any organization would like to start working with location analytics, the very first thing which comes into mind is, do we have the data set, do we have the base maps available with us or not? That's the place where again ESRI India is playing a major role, where what we have done is that there's lots of data which is freely available across from various different countries, including India. There is also data with the latest geospatial policy which has been rolled out by the government this year. What India has also done is that there's lots of data which is now freely available from government agencies as well. And based on that data, what we have done is that whatever data, be it coming from Survey of India, which is your maybe your admin boundaries, or your street data, or a railway network data, or any other data which is coming from maybe NRSE, which is open, which is a imagery which is open, can also be easily plugged in. ISRI India has its own data team where they are trying. What we are doing is we are trying to add 500 plus odd layers from Indian data sets to ensure that we can cover and give our Indian customers the option of adding those freely available data sets. So these are some of the quick examples of different layers which are provided by our side, like pin code boundaries, postal boundaries, electoral boundaries, data coming from airports, seaports, some data coming from health department, agriculture department, accidents, energy sector, and other departments. Where so these are the different kind of data sets which are available. And what we have done is that depending upon the different industries, since we work for multiple different industries, so be it your socioeconomic data or data coming from for health department, energy sector, transport sector, your demographic data, your mining data, water resources. So there are a big lot of data sets which are available from the Indian side as well, and we are able to provide our Indian customers with these data sets once they have the software with them. Having said that, the next important question which might come to uh, the question to the minds is that whether this software, whichever we are taking, is scalable or extendable or not. So when we talk about scalability and extendability, we provide our users the option to scale up their systems. So what I would say is we are not a open source, but we are a open software. And when I say we are a open software, by saying that, what we intend to say is that whatever existing softwares are running in your organization, our mapping component becomes a can be put along with that to ensure that we can complement those softwares, and we can help you add your location analytics as well, along with the different kind of analysis what you are doing. And the kind of APIs which we have, so we have got lots of extendable APIs which are available. Uh, from the geospatial location perspective, there are lots of 1,000 plus analytical tools, models which are available from our side, which can easily be used. And when it comes to the deployment options, Then be it your web-based application, mobile-based application, or desktop-based application, there are multiple ways where we can host our applications the way the end customer wants. And we are available on cloud as well for doing the deployments. With this, I will quickly like to show you some examples as well. So let me share my screen. So first, I will just like to show you the platform. When I talk to when I talk about the scalability of the software, so these are the kind of different. This is a developer URL which is given to our developers. Here you can see that we have got multiple APIs which are there. So if you're working on a uh, when we are working with Java or .NET or Qt platform, or when we want to implement a particular app on a mobile device, so it should not be OS specific. It should be easily deployed on a Android, iOS, or uh, .NET kind of a mobile platform. So these are the different kind of APIs which are available for our users. These are the open APIs which are available for our users. You can just click on any one of them and you can browse through multiple samples which are available. So this helps the customers, our people, to see that how easily our uh, configurable as well as development options are from ESRI perspective. Coming to the data sets which we are offering free of cost, this is the example for that. This is our site, which is open site. One just needs to go to the livingatlas.arcgis.com and they can go to the browse section. In the browse section, we have got multiple data sets which are available. Here you can see that if I'm interested in boundaries data set, like I would like to have admin boundary. It can be a state boundary, district boundary. I can select my admin boundaries and I get to know what all admin boundaries are available for me. If I'm interested to have a demographic information, I can go and click on the people and I've got the demographic information, that what is the kind of population which is there, what is their income pattern, what is their health, is there any specific risk issue in that particular area. You can get to know that. If there is some satellite imagery which is required, so there are multiple base maps which are available. They are temporal maps which are available, so you can very well go there. When it comes to the environmental data, that if I am planning anything related to analysis, that if what is the probability that when we are trying to work for maybe a good use case for this can be when we are working for an insurance sector, and we would like to understand that if there and if we are working for an agriculture place domain, so they might like to understand that if I'm trying to give insurance to a particular farmer, will it be, what is the probability that the farmers are going to come back to me because the crops were not grown. So for that, we would like to have rainfall data available with us, the data which is available for maybe a cyclone or anything. So once we have the rainfall and the soil data available, the texture of the soil, we get to know that what is the probability that the farmers will be able to be successful to deliver whatever they are planning to grow. And the insurance companies can it helps the insurance companies to mitigate that risk as well. So these are the different kind of environmental data sets which are available. And apart from this, you can go to a particular region, that if you are only interested to work not only outside India, or if you are interested to work only for Indian data sets, then you can just go here and select your Indian category and you can go to that particular layer and you can get details for that. So these are the different, and the when anybody asks for the authenticity of the data, so whichever data set you click on, there is a metadata information which comes along with the data, which tells the vintage of the data which is there, which tells the data source. So you are when whatever data sets we are using, it tells you that what is the data source, when was it collected, when was it updated, and you get to know the full authenticity of the data. So that's the place where again ESRI is helping our other customers to get whatever data sets are free of cost available as web services. They can be integrated into their systems. You don't need to go and procure those data sets. With this, I would like to now jump to some of the examples. Again, some different different industries. So a quick example is when we are trying to work with a 3D data set. I would like to have a visualization of my 3D data set in different ways. If I'm a construction company, I would like to know what is their floor plan, what are the plates which floor plates which are there. I would like to understand what is their volume for each particular floor. Uh, what is their space which is available for that particular floor. So these are some quick examples which easily tells that when I'm trying to visualize a data and I'm trying to present it on a browser, then how does it look, and I can plan my analysis around it. And it's not only for above the road, for utility companies, for utility sectors in Indian for Indian governments, wherever they are trying to have their planning done, that if they are trying to dig a particular they're trying to lay their pipelines, be it your water pipelines or electric pipelines, which or any other utility pipelines which need to be planned underground. So this data can not only can also be planned for beneath the surface as well, apart from uh, your regular 3D datasets which are above the ground. Another quick example which I would like to show you, this is for what we have done in this is that there can be a question that if I have got a data which I am trying to take, which is not my data, which is data coming from Indian other data sources. So that is a data set which is available as web service. I would like to use that data, integrate with my organization data, and then use it for my purpose, for doing any particular analysis. So what we are trying to show here is that we have taken the census data from the census department. With that, what we have tried to do is we have tried to take the organization data. When I talk about the organization data, this is the quick example of the different kind of disabilities which are there across India. I can go to a particular state. I can have the other data, the data for that particular state starts getting updated. The charts start getting updated. You can also go to the age level, that if I want to understand what is the different kind of uh, disability which is there for a particular region with people who are there between the age group of 40 to 49. I can have details related to that as well. So it's totally upon me how I would like to analyze my data, where which is not only my organization data, but where the data is coming from a third party source. So how does that kind of a data, if you would like to integrate your stuff with that, whether you are able to integrate or not. So this is a quick example for that. Another quick example for this is for the example for the one of the ground water departments. What we have done, why we are trying to show you this example is that this is a example where now data is coming from a third party as a real time data for the different kind of uh, borewells and diggings which are happening. So here I get to know that what is the total number of meters which are available, how many wells are available, are there, how many dug wells are there. I can understand what, if I would like to understand the water levels, I can do that. I can go to a particular borewell location. I get to know, it gets highlighted on the mat and it gives me the detail for this. And if I would like to have a district wise information for a particular commodity, I can click on that and the data gets updated on the map, and you are able to see the details of that particular data getting updated for that particular location as well. So here, and this data it gets keeps getting updated on regular basis. So there's a full time series analysis which is available. So the data whatever was collected from 1990 till date, all that data is getting updated here, and that information which might be coming from your sensors or your IoT devices can be plotted as a time series onto our dashboards, and it gives these dashboards become a near real-time dashboard for planning your analysis, whatever you would like to plan. Another quick example which I would like to show you is a data which we have tried to collect from drones. Now this is the different imageries which we have selected. Now that drone data can be visualized and can be integrated into and can be shown on a map. And this is the data sets which can, so if even if there is a mining company, if they have done some which whatever their work is getting whatever work they are doing, if it's getting updated and the imageries are getting updated on regular basis, that data sets can be brought into this system and can be showcased on the map. So having said that, what we had tried to present in today's demo and today's presentation, what we have tried to do is we have tried to cover some quick use cases, some quick industries which were there where we have tried to plan our location analysis and try to show how it can be used. There are multiple use cases, multiple scenarios which we have for multiple industries. Even the templates whichever are there, the solution templates, even they are easily readily available, which can be easily configured and can be shared with our customers. So that's the ease of use of the software and how it can be easily scaled up with your existing systems, and it can bring help you do your location analytics along with the different analytics which is being done in organization. So with this, we are ready. We have finished with our presentation and demo. We can go ahead and take any queries if we have.
Thank you, Ashish. I think there are any specific questions, we can probably the team can address to the best of their ability. And if you are unable to speak, if you want to type in the chat section, that also is most welcome. We have five.
Sure. So there were some queries which were there in the chat section.
Yeah.
Myself and my team has tried to reply to that. Uh, if there are any other questions apart from this, or if there are some more clarifications, because whatever questions were put there in the chat window, we had tried to give answers to that. But if there are any further specific questions, we can take that as well.
Ashish, I have one question for you,
Yeah.
maybe on behalf of the team. The one of the important point is a lot of people have factories in two locations or multi locations, especially because of the proximity to their OEMs and other things. In that contextuality, how do you suggest, like when OEM and the supply chain together, do you have any some kind of highlights which you would like to share? Because some of the people in this panel could be from the automotive and auto suppliers.
So there have been use cases in India and across India where we have tried to, give our software to those companies. What we had also helped our automotive companies to go to a particular demographic region, and if they would need to plan to sell a particular segment car in a particular segment, there can be a good example is that, if there are vehicles which are like a BMW, and then there are some vehicles which are maybe a regular Maruti car. So if we depending upon the demographic location, where are your customers, where you would like to sell or market your particular product in a particular location, the software can help you do that. And when it is at multi location, so the deployment patterns are available from ESRI side, where we can help the company. We can give them a central platform where they can access all their data on a browser, and people who are the analysts, they will be the people who will be actually creating the data, updating the data, and sharing it as web services on the browser, so that the other people can other department people can make use of it.
I'll just make one more point here. Hi, this is Ashish Arora again.
Yeah, Ashish.
Uh, so when it comes to automotive manufacturing, there are multiple use cases which can be looked at. What Ashish just explained are a couple of use cases which we have implemented in India, but then if you really look at it globally, right from the manufacturing plant management for situational awareness, security, and operations perspective, starting from that automation to dealer management, vendor management, to showroom performance optimization. Because see, once you plot all your locations, all your dealer, vendor, and showroom locations on the map, and then you put your parameters on top of it, and then superimpose that with other ancillary and demographics data, you can draw a lot of references, a lot of patterns, and then you can make an informed decision in terms of where to focus, which are my branches which has a potential to grow but are low on my index, for example,
Okay.
which are my locations which are performing exceptionally, and how can I replicate that, what is happening good with them, what is the spatial relationship with that, is the demographics better, is my location better, or am I in a cluster wherein other automotive dealers are there, or it's the other way around. So a lot of analytics is possible once you connect all your data sets along with geospatial. Another use case is your logistics. You have your warehouses, you have your showrooms, you have your delivery locations, you have multiple people who are managing the fleet. So fleet management, traveling salesman problem, all of that is a classic geospatial use case. You know, so all of it can be implemented. The only typically when we start working with such use cases, we would like to understand in terms of what are the priorities, what kind of data is available, what kind of data is required, and we start from there, and we kind of jointly try to create a solution.
Wow. There is a question in the chat box about can we provide decision support system for FMCG inventory management by considering area specific cultural and natural factors?
Yes.
For example, in certain demands, certain goods are increased if there will be heavy rain in next 7 days in some areas. So the certain product demand can increase, a kind of a forecasting. That's what I understand
So
if I'm right.
it's a classic use case. So see, typically already these kind of problems are being answered using your analytics platforms. With geospatial, you add another dimension to it to understand spatial patterns. Okay, so using your standard query techniques onto a as simple solution as a database, you are already trying to answer these queries, these questions. What we do is we add another dimension so that you can draw spatial references and kind of connect all these disparate systems, disparate issues together to make a much better informed decision, and put it up on a presentation layer so that you can then look at what is happening across the operations. So when it comes to FMCG, again, stores optimization, store locations, warehousing, warehouse management, vendor management, dealer management, logistics, it's all the same. It just depends what are the challenges and how we can connect to the data.
Yeah, and I would also like to add a point. So they've mentioned specifically rainfalls and heavy rains. So you are looking like with heavy rainfalls, you are looking at a very geographical point of view for this solution, and with rainfall, you do have some kind of historical data also associated with it. So you are bringing in a very spatial temporal look at it. So looking at the rainfall over a particular over a number of years. So if you are looking at rainfall data, people generally tend to look at it at 100-year perspective, and that helps you with predictive analysis. And you with a location specifically, you have the capacity of bringing in this kind of analysis and plan for goods, perishable goods, and demand, increase in demand, and how you would cater to that demand. So yes, it is quite
I
possible.
would typically create a dashboard wherein I would just say, okay, show me spatially where is the demand increase time wise, superimpose that with the rainfall data, draw a pattern, and make informed decisions on top of it. And then look at the perishable items, what is getting perished, when are my soon to expire, medium to expire goods, and how can I optimize that sale? Is it better for me to transfer these items to a different location because I am aware that the demand may increase because last year there was a rain and this year it is predicted, and I know the demand is going to increase. I have soon to expire items in some other warehouse, just transfer that and maybe it makes sense. So these kind of references can be drawn.
Perfect.
The typical use case.
Thank you. I think we had, I think Prakash San has joined back. I think one more question, Rajat Gupta. What kind of use case applicable for auto ancillary? It's a question from Rajat Gupta.
Uh, I I understand auto. I don't understand auto ancillary. I'm sorry.
Ancillary means a guy who supplies like a tier one, tier two. Auto ancillary is the typically OEM original equipment. It could be like TVS Motors or the Volvo trucks or the Toyota Kirloskar, Toyota Motors. These are all OEMs. Their supply chains are tier one, tier two. The ancillaries are the one which will actually in the value chain they stack up to get to the OEM. Actually.
See, as on date, what is happening is, uh, in my understanding, almost 90% of the vehicles which are getting manufactured in India, at least the four wheelers, are coming with OBUs. And these OBUs are generating a lot of spatial data. Okay. So right from analyzing what is happening with the vehicles to service management to again all the use cases we've already talked about can be done. That is on the service side of it. On the operation side of it, you can look at your again fleet management, logistics, tracking of your vehicles, tracking of your dealers, tracking of your employees on ground. What is happening? Are the right sales call being made? Are you doing shows? Where to focus in terms of optimizing? All of that can be anyways be done. But one point which I would like to add here is the OBU management. So if you look at some of the automakers, they would give a service to their customers that okay, the moment a car breaks down, you can just send a notification on the app. We will know the location and we will send you a vehicle, and you can just leave your vehicle there. We would know the nearest warehouse, and you would automatically trigger a service vehicle. All of that is actually connected through a map. Okay.
And the best thing about all this is, like Ashish mentioned, that we can also give auto alerts. When we say auto alerts, means if there is a, you would like to understand which is the nearest service center or a nearest vehicle which can come and help you in any distress time, you can do that. You can also have a comparative analysis between tier 1 and tier 2. So those kind of uses can be, easily built up onto the systems.
So if I just wanted to maybe articulate that there is a company information, there is a social demographic information, there is certain business information, everything can be consumed in single unified platform. Can I say that way?
Yes. We always say that geospatial is the universal integrator.
Integrated.
You can integrate everything with geospatial because everything has a location attached to it.
That's true.
And the more the data we have, the better the analysis which we can perform.
Yeah. Good. I think we have come to the curtain down for 4:30. I think I thank Ashish Arora, Ashish Dhawan, Roma. So everybody sparing your valuable time to share the insights about how the technology is enabling many organizations, not only in India, but also globally, and leveraging this geospatial techniques as well as the data is omnipresent from that perspective, how your technology is being an enabler for the people to make informed decision. I think it was a wonderful learning for me, as well as I'm sure the team of audience which have come from very diverse industries would have learned there's a key takeaways for them that how they can leverage this based on their scope and limitations within their business needs. So we will definitely connect with them as and when needed. If there is anybody who would like to connect with us, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. Our coordinates are there with the BCIC. I'm sure it has been a great learning, and I must thank all the participants once again for the patient listening and being there with us for the whole session. Thank you all and have a nice evening.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Much, Mr. Ashish Dhawan and your team at eShri India for addressing at this session. We would like to present a small thank you video acknowledging your address to our members. Please do stay with us. Thank you.